Driving across the western edge of India means navigating long, isolated stretches of Rajasthan highway. The landscape is arid, flat, and extremely quiet. Along routes like this, it is common to encounter small roadside shrines. Drivers frequently pull over to ask deities for a safe journey before continuing into the desert. But on Highway 62, the object of devotion shifts. Visitors do not bow to a traditional statue. They pray to a mass-produced Royal Enfield motorcycle. Devotees bring the same offerings they would present at any temple. They light incense, drape marigold garlands over the handlebars, and bow their heads respectfully toward the engine block. Observing this phenomenon prompts a specific question. What is the mechanism that takes an ordinary piece of machinery and elevates it into a sacred relic? To find the answer, we have to look near the densely populated, culturally rich city of Jodhpur. Just outside the city limits sits the Om Banna Temple. Locally and across much of the country, it is known simply as Bullet Baba. Today, the site features a concrete platform and a framed portrait, with the Royal Enfield positioned permanently under a protective canopy alongside it. People unfamiliar with the region might look at this setup with heavy skepticism, yet hundreds of travelers arrive daily, expressing genuine, unquestioning reverence. Understanding Bullet Baba requires stepping away from the search for hard, supernatural evidence. The real story lies in the social mechanics of how local myths take root. The historical baseline of the site is rooted entirely in tragedy. The timeline begins in the late 1980s. A local resident named Om Singh Rathore was riding his motorcycle along this specific stretch of asphalt when he crashed into a tree and died. What happened next was standard protocol. Local authorities responded to the scene, gathered the wreckage, and impounded the motorcycle at a nearby police station. This is where the factual record ends and the local legend begins. Rumors began to circulate that the motorcycle vanished from the police yard overnight and reappeared back at the site of the fatal crash. The public retellings escalated quickly. Stories claimed authorities emptied the fuel tank and changed the tires, only for the bike to mysteriously return to the tree the very next morning. There are no official police records verifying these movements, but an absence of empirical evidence is precisely the environment where human communities construct folklore. This timeline visualization illustrates a strict boundary where documented history diverges into oral tradition. Sociologists refer to this expansion as oral amplification. As stories pass from person to person, the mundane details fade away, and the extraordinary elements magnify to overshadow the baseline facts. Focusing entirely on whether or not the motorcycle actually drove itself misses the point. The outcome of the belief is far more interesting than the mechanics of the legend. Because people believed the story, they began leaving small offerings at the tree. Over decades, those initial gestures accumulated, transforming an unmarked site of a fatal accident into a heavily organized roadside shrine. The physical reality of the cultural institution we see today exists regardless of what happened in the police impound lot. The persistence of this shrine serves a very functional purpose for the people who visit it. Highway travel in this region carries severe risks, high accident rates, and extreme unpredictability. When navigating a dangerous environment, human psychology often seeks out an anchor, a local guardian figure that can offer a sense of protection. Indian culture has a long tradition of applying spiritual blessings to modern vehicles. Drivers frequently blend ancient protective rituals with contemporary modes of transport to manage their anxieties about the road. Stopping at the Bullet Baba temple before a long drive is a functional act. The ritual provides a necessary psychological comfort, offering drivers the illusion of control on an otherwise dangerous highway. On a broader anthropological level, the Om Banna Temple demonstrates how societies process unexpected, violent loss. The community recast the motorcycle as a guardian. The machine that ended a life became the specific tool they used to pray for the preservation of others. The site functions through the mechanics of storytelling. A shared narrative has the capacity to mobilize personal grief into a collective physical ritual. This shrine wasn't built on empirical facts. It was assembled over decades through individual acts of memory and the shared desire for a safe arrival. As long as journeys remain dangerous, humanity will continue pulling to the side of the road, finding ways to create meaning and safe harbor out of metal and tragedy.